Note that the ILR system is referred to by several different names, sometimes being called the ILR Maritime Buoyage System, but elsewhere described as the ILR Combined System of Buoyage, or the ILR Uniform System of Buoyage. The initials AISM stand for l'Association Internationale de Signalisation Maritime, and will frequently be seen alongside those of the ILR. A mark is defined as a signal available to the mariner to convey guidance in safe navigation. Buoys deliver part of this guidance, along with beacons, lighthouses, and other types of mark. Although the ILR system has now been in force for many years, different buoyage systems are still found in navigable waters around the world, and reference should always be made to the appropriate charts and sailing directions for exact details. It is a principle of safe navigation that a ship's position is established wherever possible from fixed features. Buoys should be used for guidance only, and positions derived from such floating marks should only be taken in the event of fixed targets being unavailable or indistinct. They must be considered as approximate only, and cross-checked by alternative means at the earliest opportunity. After completing this chapter, the student will know the buoys and marks to which the ILR Maritime Buoyage System applies. Know the standard features of the buoys and marks. Understand that there are geographic variations in the way the system is applied, and know what the conventional direction of buoyage is, and understand how it affects the ILR Maritime Buoyage System. The ILR Maritime Buoyage System applies to fixed and floating marks, lighthouses, beacons, sector lights, leading lines and ranges, land bees, light floats, light vessels, and port and harbour marks. Its purpose is to indicate the lateral limits of navigable channels, natural dangers and other obstructions such as wrecks, landfall, courses to steer and other areas or features of importance to the mariner, and new dangers. Broadly speaking, Region A, as identified by the ILR system, applies to the waters of all European countries, Australia, New Zealand, parts of Africa, and most of Asia, excluding the Philippines, Japan, and Korea. Region B applies to the waters of North America, Central America, South America, the Philippines, Japan, and Korea. While it is easy to say that red buoys appear on the port side of a channel in Region A This does of course depend on which way you are travelling within that channel. A direction of voyage must be established and understood by mariners using that channel. The conventional direction of voyage is established in one of two ways. Local direction of voyage. This is the direction taken by a ship when approaching a harbour, river, estuary or other waterway when coming from the open sea. And general direction of voyage. This is the direction determined by the appropriate authority. It is, wherever possible, based on the principle of following a clockwise direction around continents. The direction will be given in the sailing directions and, where applicable, on charts. The standard magenta or dark red arrow symbol is used for this purpose. In the following pages, we will examine the various features of the standard navigational buoys and marks. It is of critical importance that any buoy, beacon or other mark is positively identified before being used for navigation. Many groundings are the result of failure to properly identify such features before proceeding along a channel. Simply noting the presence of a mark in an anticipated location or at an expected time is not enough. It must be established that the mark seen is that which was expected. There are 6 categories of mark in the ILS system. These are lateral, cardinal, isolated danger, safe water, special marks, and other marks. They may be used in any combination. The colours red and green are used on lateral marks. Yellow is used for special marks. Black and yellow bands, black and red bands, red and white stripes, and blue and yellow stripes are used for the other types of mark, such as cardinal marks, isolated danger marks, safe water marks, and emergency wreck marking buoys. Five basic shapes of buoy are defined under the ILA maritime buoyage system. These are can, sometimes called cylindrical, conical, spherical, pillar, and spar. In addition to these shapes, there are certain designs of light float and floating beacons. In particular, so-called superbuoys, or landbees, can be large and specialized structures. In terms of lateral, safe water, and special marks, when going with the conventional direction of voyage, can buoys are laid to the port side of a channel. Conical buoys are laid to the starboard side of a channel. Spherical marks are laid mid-channel. Therefore, the shapes above will always indicate the relative position of a vessel with respect to the limits of a channel, assuming the mark is visible and the conventional direction of buoyage is known. Click on the button to learn about regional variations. Regional variations. In some parts of the world, buoys may be identical in shape on both sides of a laterally marked channel, and distinguished only by colour or number. Great care is necessary when navigating in such areas, particularly in low light or restricted visibility, and before transiting such an area for the first time, mariners should familiarise themselves with local marking arrangements. A particular variation found under the United States Aids to Navigation System is the nun buoy. This is a cylindrical or can buoy with a triangular top. That top itself may be cut off or slightly rounded. Red nun buoys are used to mark the starboard side of a waterway or channel, opposite flat-topped conventional green can buoys on the port side. Lateral marks define the limits of safe water within a channel. Their distinctive shape, colour and top mark, where fitted, indicate to the mariner on which side they should be left as a vessel proceeds. As explained in the historical overview in Chapter 1, there is a significant difference between Isla Region A and Isla Region B in the application of colours on lateral marks. That is, when proceeding with the conventional direction of buoyage in Region A, red is used on the port side of the channel and green on the starboard side, while in Region B, green is used on the port side of the channel and red on the starboard side. At a point where a channel divides, when proceeding in the conventional direction of buoyage, to form two alternative routes to the same destination, the preferred channel is indicated by a lateral mark with modified colours. These marks are sometimes called bifurcation buoys. Note that no special provision is made for the point at which two channels join. Click on the button to learn about regional variations. In Region A, a red can, pillar or spar buoy with a broad horizontal green band around the middle indicates that the preferred channel lies to starboard. A green conical, pillar or spar buoy with a broad horizontal red band around the middle indicates that the preferred channel lies to port. Special marks of can or conical shape, but painted yellow, may be used in conjunction with standard lateral marks for certain special types of channel. In Region B, a green can, pillar or spar buoy with a broad horizontal red band around the middle indicates that the preferred channel lies to starboard. A red conical, pillar or spar buoy with a broad horizontal green band around the middle indicates that the preferred channel lies to port. Special marks of can or conical shape, but painted yellow, may be used in conjunction with standard lateral marks for special types of channel. Where lateral buoys carry individual identification, by way of distinctive numbers or letters, the sequence will follow the conventional direction of buoyage. In ILR Region A, if numbered, port hand marks are generally marked with successive even numbers, and starboard hand marks with corresponding odd numbers. In ILR Region B, if numbered, port hand marks are generally marked with successive odd numbers, and starboard hand marks with corresponding even numbers. Another way to look at this numbering convention is to say that red buoys are marked with even numbers and green buoys are marked with odd numbers, irrespective of the Ayala region. Cardinal marks are based on the compass rather than on the side on which the buoy is to be passed. One or more of the marks will be placed around a hazard to navigation, termed a point of interest in the Ayala maritime buoyage system. Therefore, a north cardinal mark will be laid to the north of a hazard, and indicate that safe water lies to the north of its position, and so on for the other quadrants of the compass and their respective marks. Note that, depending on the hazard and its location with respect to other features and the channel itself, it may be that not all 4 marks will be used to mark a hazard. An isolated danger mark is placed on or over an isolated danger which has navigable water all around it. A safe water mark indicates that there is navigable water all round the mark. Such buoys commonly mark a channel entrance, port approach, or landfall. The light rhythm may also be used to mark the best route under a bridge. Special marks are used to indicate areas or features of navigable interest, information on which can be obtained by reference to a chart or publication. Examples include spoil ground marks, cable or pipeline marks, anchorage areas, military exercise zones, and data gathering buoys. Under the Ayala maritime buoyage system, established wrecks are treated in the same way as other dangers and marked accordingly, using such buoys or combination of buoys as are appropriate to the location. Different arrangements apply for new dangers. A newly discovered hazard to navigation, too new to have been included on charts or in sailing directions, or even perhaps listed in notices to mariners, is termed a new danger. Such a hazard may be a natural feature, such as a rock or sandbank, or a man-made feature, such as a wreck. A new danger is marked at the first opportunity using either cardinal or lateral marks, in accordance with the Ayala maritime buoyage system. 1 or more marks may be used. If the danger is severe and information on it is not sufficiently broadcast, at least one of the marks used will be duplicated by an identical mark. So, for example, 2 east cardinal marks in the immediate proximity may be encountered. A quick or very quick light will be displayed from a mark indicating a new danger, white from a cardinal mark, and red or green as appropriate from a lateral mark. A Raycon signal emitting the Morse code letter D, which will show a signal length of 1 nautical mile on a radar display, may also be used. Such a danger may also be marked by an emergency wreck marking buoy, a relatively new type of mark, which, while not in use worldwide, is now regularly used by many national authorities. The buoy has blue and yellow vertical stripes, a vertical yellow cross top mark, and displays a blue and yellow alternating light. This buoy likewise may be supplemented by a Raycon signal emitting the Morse code letter D, and may also be marked by electronic means, such as by an automatic identification system or AIS transponder. Marking of a new danger may be discontinued once the appropriate authority is confident that sufficient information about it has been distributed and the hazard has been properly dealt with. Marks which do not rely on their shape for identification use a top mark wherever practicable instead. 5 types of top mark are used. Can, conical, spherical, X-shaped, and cross. The use of top marks is particularly important on pillar and spar buoys, as these marks are found on both sides of a channel, and the colour may be difficult to establish in bad weather or icy conditions. In general, lateral can and conical buoys, spherical safe water marks, and can, conical and spherical special marks do not carry top marks, as their shape anyway identifies them. Where fitted, port hand, pillar and spar marks carry can top marks, and starboard hand, pillar and spar marks carry conical top marks. Pillar and spar safe water marks carry spherical top marks. Isolated danger marks carry double spherical top marks, one above the other. Pillar, spar, and other optional shaped special marks carry X-shaped top marks. Cardinal marks carry double conical top marks, one above the other, but with the directions of the 2 cones indicating the applicable compass point. The emergency wreck marking buoy has a yellow cross. Click on the button to learn about regional variations. In some parts of the world, top marks may not be in general use. Great care is necessary when navigating in such areas, particularly in low light or restricted visibility. Care must again be taken in US waters, where can and nun buoys on laterally marked channels are frequently not fitted with any top mark at all. Under the ILR Maritime Buoyed system, the colours red and green are used for lights only on lateral marks, while yellow is reserved to special marks, in line with the colour scheme used on the buoys themselves. A distinctive blue and yellow alternating flashing light is used on the emergency wreck marking buoy. White lights are used on other types of marks, and their rhythm is distinctive. Note that many marks are not fitted with a light. The following definitions apply to all lights within the system. Long flash, not less than 2 seconds duration. Quick flash, rate between 50 and 79 flashes per minute, usually either 50 or 60. Very quick flash, rate between 80 and 159 flashes per minute, usually either 100 or 120. An additional method of location and identification, particularly of unlighted marks at night, is by the use of retroreflective bands, characters or shapes on the buoy casing. These will reflect back light played on them, from, for example, a ship's searchlight, or, in the case of small craft, a flashlight. Note that retroreflective material is primarily intended for use on unlighted marks, and it is to be used only where identification is made easier by such use, and not as a substitute for a light. The colours and arrangements used follow one of two codes, known as the Standard Code and the Comprehensive Code. There is geographic variation in the use of the two codes, but in any given area only one code will be used, so it is once again a case of knowing which area you are in and which code applies. Reference should be made to the applicable sailing directions for further information. Many buoys and marks are installed with a fog signal, either a bell or an automatic whistle or foghorn, the latter sometimes taking the form of a distinctive signal, such as a Morse code letter. Most major buoys are either fitted with radar reflectors or the reflector profile is incorporated in the buoy design. The reflector quality is particularly important on fairway buoys to a vessel making an approach from seaward. Buoys may also be identified by a special electronic identifying signal. This may be a Raycon trace on a radar screen or through a radio signal activated by an automatic identification system transponder. A virtual buoy is essentially an AIS message created and sent by the competent authority, such as VTS or port authorities, to ships in the area, giving the details of navigational buoys that are not physically present. Ships that are fitted with an AIS transponder then use this information to navigate through the area or avoid hazards. Cost-effective because the expenses involved with installing and maintaining a physical buoy are avoided, the buoy will also show up on AIS-linked radar screens, irrespective of the visibility or weather conditions. Systems of virtual buoyage have been used successfully in various ports, especially those where the limits of the navigable channels are constantly changing due to silting up, meaning that physical buoys cannot be depended upon. Although not yet used to any great extent, such a feature has great potential value for marking new hazards which cannot be easily and speedily reached. Another development since the 2006 IALA conference is the inclusion of other marks previously outside the scope of the maritime buoyage system. These include leading lines or ranges, sector lights, lighthouses, beacons, major floating aids, auxiliary marks, and port or harbour marks. Click on the buttons for more information. Leading lines and ranges are composed of two or more marks or lights in the same vertical plane, such that the mariner can follow the line on the same bearing. Such structures can be of any colour or shape that provides a distinctive mark. The characteristics, such as colour and light, are determined by the appropriate competent authority. Sector lights are fixed aids to navigation that display lights of different colours and or rhythms over designated arcs, and by doing so, providing directional information to the mariner. In some cases, a single sector with a light of just one colour may be used. Typical uses include courses within a fairway, turning points and junctions, and providing information on hazard areas. If sector lights are used to indicate the outer limits of channels, then they will use the same light colours as the lateral channel marks applicable to the area. Lighthouses are towers or other substantial structures erected at designated locations for the purpose of carrying a signal light for long or medium range identification by night and providing a significant visual mark by day. The lighthouse may provide a platform for other aids to navigation, and the light may be a sector light. There is no uniform pattern of colour or light, but both should provide for the mark to be distinctive and readily identifiable by the mariner. A beacon is a fixed, man-made mark distinguished by its shape, colour, pattern, top mark, light character, or a combination of these. Such characteristics should be appropriate to its location and other adjacent marks. If it carries a signal light, it is referred to as a light beacon. Light vessels, light floats, and large navigational buoys are classified as major floating aids. They are normally found at critical locations where the shipping concentration is high and mark approaches from offshore areas. They may provide a platform for other aids to navigation. They are usually red in colour and carry some form of light tower and display a light appropriate to the location. Auxiliary marks are minor marks, usually outside the defined channels, and generally do not indicate obstructions or the limits of routes to be followed. Private mooring buoys are examples of such marks. Local aids to navigation within the jurisdiction of port and harbour authorities may include marks on breakwaters, jetties and quays, bridge and traffic signals, leisure areas, and river, canal, lock and waterway marks. After completing this chapter, the student will know some of the official standards and publications which relate to the ILA maritime buoyage system, and know how selected buoys and marks and their features and characteristics are represented on charts. When the first version of this module was written, paper charts were still the standard and preferred method on ships worldwide. Since then, electronic chart systems have been developed, and ECDIS is now an integral piece of navigation equipment and standard navigational practice. Performance standards for electronic charts were adopted by the IMO in 1995, and a number of documents have since followed. The IHO ECDIS presentation library, together with the colour and symbol specifications for ECDIS, forms Appendix 2 to the IHO S52 specifications for chart content and display for ECDIS. This document indicates how symbols will appear on all approved electronic nautical charts, ENCs. BA Chart 5012 is the official UK Hydrographic Office publication showing the symbols and abbreviations used on ENC displays, and is a companion volume to NP 5011, which displays the equivalent information for symbols on British Admiralty paper charts. It is based on the standard described above. On an ECDIS, two types of symbols can be displayed. These are called traditional and simplified symbols. Traditional symbols are like those found on British Admiralty paper charts, and may readily be used on an ECDIS operating a daytime display. They are less clear, however, on a nighttime display, when most black items, such as outlines and parts of buoys and top marks, change to a light grey colour and are less distinctive. Much of the information traditionally found alongside buoys and marks on paper charts, such as colours and light characteristics, is hidden from immediate view, and activated only by selecting the object concerned. One particular exception is the top mark on an isolated danger mark, shown as two black spheres on a paper chart. Due to the significant nature of the hazard which this buoy marks, the top mark in this case shows as two red spheres on an ECDIS display, set in traditional mode. Click on the button to see a table showing some of the basic symbols. BA Chart 5011 is the official UK Hydrographic Office publication, showing all symbols and abbreviations used on British Admiralty paper charts. It is based on the chart symbols devised by the International Hydrography Office. This includes the symbols used to depict the buoys and marks of the ILA maritime buoyage system. The symbols for beacons are displayed vertically, while those for buoys are shown at a slight angle. Buoys of a predominantly green colour are shown with a solid black or filled-in symbol. Buoys of colours other than green are shown by an outline only, unshaded symbol. Spar buoys, whatever the colour, are represented on the chart in solid black. The colour of the buoy is shown in an abbreviated form underneath the symbol. Where a buoy is coloured in bands, the letters on the chart underneath the symbol follow the sequence from the top of the buoy downwards. If the buoy is striped, then the darker colour is written first. Click on the button to see a table showing some of the basic symbols. American paper charts are mostly drawn up by the National Ocean Service, a department of the United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. However, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, formerly the National Imagery and Mapping Agency, also produces charts, as do a number of private organizations for certain waters. The symbols used on NOAA charts are slightly different to those used on British Admiralty charts, and are listed in publication NOAA No. 1, Nautical Chart Symbols. Generally speaking, greater use is made of matching colours, but less of shapes, with a standard symbol and added letters indicating the shape, for example, SP for a spherical mark. The symbols used on NEMA charts are broadly similar to those used by the IHO and found on British Admiralty charts. Click on the button to see a table showing some of the basic symbols.